Welcome to another Patron Coffee Time here on the Akibana Zero channel. I have with me two of my wonderful patrons. Actually, one more of a honorary patron extraordinaire because he has been responsible for every single giveaway that we've had here on the channel for months now. Please, a round of applause for my good friend Omacron. Omacron, welcome.
Hello.
Omacron is this lovely avatar over here on this side, very cyberpunky version of a good
You
British
don't want to see my
lad.
real face.
Does it kind of resemble you?
Yes, it was drawn from a photograph I provided.
Wow. So you do have this epic beard, epic long hair, all of that stuff, yeah?
Yes, I haven't cut my hair for over 5 years.
Ooh, that's pretty sick. And this other guy over here, you've seen him before in the past Patron Coffee Time. This is Valashar. How you doing, my man?
Good here. Lovely day. Off work. No complaints.
Oh, off work on a Saturday, yeah?
Yeah, I work mornings. Saturday is my Monday.
Nice. So, how has your weekends been so far, gentlemen?
I've been busy with a pre-alpha test for a new RTS.
For a new RTS?
Real
A new
time
RTS, real-time story. Oh, which one? Can you talk about it?
Yeah, it's called Neuroslicers. It's still in, pre-alpha, so very early. That's just finished the last weekend. They're currently planning, 18 months to 24 months before full release. That's the current schedule.
Ooh.
Still a lot of work to be done. It's a very small team.
What are you, kickstarting it or something?
No, I'm a tester, quality tester. Basically I just play test what they build and give my opinions.
Oh, as in that's like your job with the game, or you're just volunteering?
Yeah, voluntary. I'm not a paid position.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good. Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, I've never been involved in a game at this part of development before, so it's an interesting experience for me. You
Wow.
see behind the veil so much, so to speak.
Yeah, that is true. I kind of had the pleasure of doing that during one of my off weeks. I did a usability test on a game. Unfortunately, I cannot talk about it because I'm under NDA. But yeah, I had the opportunity to do it, and it was pretty interesting to play a game that was at such a basic early stage. Honestly, playing with all the bugs and stuff.
Yeah,
That's part of the fun.
I've done
Part of the job of a games tester is to break the game.
Yeah, that is true. What was that, Valashar?
I was just saying that I've done similar alphas and friends and family alphas on MMOs in the past.
Oh, which MMOs?
Tabula Rasa, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and then a couple others that never made it past beta stage.
Oh, never made it past beta stage. What was the Old Republic like?
Star Wars: The Old Republic, Friends and Family beta or Friends and Family alpha, it was real choppy. I mean, they hadn't implemented any of the voice acting yet, which, if you heard anything about the game, was like 60% of their development. So it was a very silent, unscored, unsounded, basically just a lot of repetition with the class skills, a lot of PvP, looking to find the balance, their initial release balance between the classes for PvP. But the reason I was on it was because of the guild I was with a previous MMO, Richard Garriott's Tabula Rasa.
Yeah, I know Tabula Rasa. I never played it though. I heard good things about it though. I thought lots of people played that a lot.
For as long as for the short time it existed, it was a good game. It had a lot of good ideas that the development team scattered and took into later projects, and a lot of what was brand new with it is commonplace now. And the guild I was with did a lot of community-driven events like the Tabula Rasa Olympics.
Ooh.
And other things like that, which is what. And because we worked with the community director, Amy Kreider, a lot, and she left Tabula Rasa to become the community director for the Old Republic, came to the, sending out invites for stuff, our guild all got invites to help, test and try to break the new game.
Wow, that's pretty good that you were like one of those really high esteemed guilds and having those kinds of privileges. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they actually, because of some of the stuff we put together, the developers built entirely new zones on the map to accommodate the events we were putting together, particularly the Friday night fights, which were boxing tournaments.
Boxing tournaments?
Yeah, just in-game boxing tournaments. They actually they put a new region of the map with portals to everywhere, with a boxing ring and spectator stands and all that. Made boxing gloves as weapons and.
That sounds hilarious. Why don't I know about this?
The guild that put it together this was a long time ago, and.
Well, you a bit like Orange, you were the last one left, were you?
No, there's a few of them that still play the occasional game, but not very often. I'm pretty much the only one who still actively plays a lot of MMOs. The other ones that I still hear from on occasion, they mainly do, games with each other, like, Ark or 7 Days to Die, that sort of thing.
Oh, so I assume that Tabula Rasa was one of those games that suffered because of World of Warcraft.
Not particularly. If they went a sci-fi route, it suffered because Richard Garriott flaked on supporting the game, and also NCSoft decided early on that they were going to just ignore it as far as marketing and such.
I see. Well, that sucks. I mean, lots of MMOs, unfortunately, when they enter the market, they have to compete with this giant World of Warcraft, and it's always they're trying to find that one selling point that basically draws in a fraction of the MMO market, because that's all you can hope for.
It's easier now than it was in the past. The popularity of WoW has waned.
That's true.
Still big, but its market share is not as dominant as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, what else is out there that is kind of comparable? I know Black Desert, although I never played it.
Black Desert Online, Terra, Secret World Legends.
Terra's that big?
Terra is. It's actually they recently did a full console release.
Yeah, I know about that one.
The servers aren't shared with the PC version, but it's still. And then Lord of the Rings Online is surprisingly still going strong.
What? Really? I thought that game died.
Nope. In fact, it was only like in the past year that they finished expanding the territories so you could actually go into Mordor.
Oh, not bad. Pretty sexy.
Yep, and they've the core they call it the epic storyline, which is a series of quests that follow the events of the books. That storyline recently just not only went in, the series that takes you into Mordor, but also beyond that into the events that take place after the books.
Oh, well, that's good that they're continuing those storylines. That's what I was kind of hoping they would do with that MMO. For some reason, it just never appealed to me, though. I don't know. Maybe it was the art style. Maybe it was the way it played. I don't know.
Yeah, its play style it plays pretty basic, but yeah, they're collaborating with the Tolkien estate to develop storylines based on unpublished works that take place after the Lord of the Rings and deal with Aragorn as king, Aragorn's son as king, that sort of thing.
Aragorn was supposed to reign for a couple of 100 years after the end of the Lord of the Rings books.
Yep, and they're pushing seriously far the unification of Arnor and a whole bunch of other things. There's been talk that if the game can continue to maintain a strong player base for the next 2 years, that they'll actually go into the East, beyond where the books ever dealt with.
Ooh.
I know the published works anyway, but there's still so much of the notes and stuff that were never published.
Yep, out into the areas where the Easterlings come from, and where the two blue wizards ran off to, vanished into.
Well, that might actually be worth it for me to explore. I mean, if that means it's the continuation of what Tolkien did, I mean, might be something to look into.
The lore in the books did state that Sauron will be the last embodiment of evil to plague the world. So there will be like a focal point like Sauron again. There will still be evil in the world, but it will never be.
Yep, it's dealing with the kind of mortal evils that were overlooked during the time of Sauron.
That's pretty good. And I think Tolkien would have been happy to see that his work continued on in this kind of fashion, in a more modern world sort of sense. I don't know, it kind of feels fitting.
At the end of the books, it said, it was the end of the age of the elves and the start of dominion of men.
Yeah.
So over the next, 1,000 years of the books, the elves will slowly disappear. Most of the other magical races will slowly disappear, and it will become the world of men.
Exactly.
And then there's going to be total destruction because, it's humans. There's the way it is.
There's always the last battle to look forward to when Morgoth returns.
Right. So, today we are going to be talking all things RWBY Volume 6, and we're all, really, really excited for Volume 6. We've got recently, where was it? Yesterday, I think it was, Volume 5 soundtrack got released.
Yep,
I'll be picking up soon.
You guys can pick it up, but I have to wait for for Flint to finish his lyrics videos in order to do reaction, because I can't just listen to it on my own and then do the reaction. I have to do the reaction full blind,
Fast, thankfully.
What was that?
Flint moves fast, thankfully. I'd be very surprised if he didn't have his stuff up by tomorrow.
It should be done by tomorrow. That's my guess as well. Lots of people have been telling me, it's gonna be done soon. Don't worry. So yeah, I think I'll have stuff out. I'll have the video out early next week because I'm off work as well. Because that means I get to do a lot of stuff.
Oh, I don't work.
Yeah, I've also got an order into the Volume 5 DVD or Blu-ray rather.
Ooh, and that's out as well, yeah.
Yep, that came out on the 5th.
Cool.
I just had to wait till today to do it, because payday.
Yeah.
Bills.
Naturally. And I assume you're picking up the Blu-ray and the CD, right? Omacron?
It depends, because if it's only available in the US and it's region locked, the Blu-ray, then I can't get it.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
What?
DVDs are 7 regions. Blu-rays are separated into 3 regions. So if it's region locked, I won't be able to use it in the EU. If I order it from the RT US store, I'll have to wait for it to come onto the RT UK store.
How long does that take?
Don't know, because the stores don't seem to carry the same stuff. Because the stuff you can get on the US store, you can't get on the UK store, and the stuff on the UK store, you can't get on the US store.
I know, it was my problem with getting a wall scroll. I ended up getting one that was not official. Because the ones they had on the UK RT store are just... Ugh.
The UK RT store did have the Boop T-shirt, which you can no longer get at the US store.
What? Oh man, that's just definitely a weird thing that they do. But I'm still surprised that DVDs and Blu-rays are region locked. That's just ridiculous to me in this time and age.
For an anime fan, it's annoying because there's quite a few of my favourite animes that were released in America, the English versions on disc, but never released in the UK. And they're region locked?
I mean, I guess you could do something on your computer and run any region you want.
I could buy a Blu-ray drive for my PC and have it, use software to circumvent the region locks, but that's hassle.
It is a hassle. Oh. Well, what can you do? I mean, that's the world we live in. I mean, more of a reason to have everything digital.
It's not just the DVDs, it's also the written media as well. Like one of my favourite manga, Solo no Tomashino. There was never an English translation of the manga. There's a Spanish one, there's a German one, but there was never an English one.
What?
Yeah, it's just weird. The way anime licensing works is just weird.
Japan, man. Japan. They've got some very weird business practices over there.
It's not Japan. For Heaven's Lost Property, it's Funimation who owns the English license.
I'm gonna tell you what was the strangest thing. Like, we've stopped having region locking. Nintendo not included here. We've stopped having
Nintendo
region
always
locking.
like to go their own way.
Well, with the Switch, they've changed. It's fully region free, but up until the Switch, they've been continuously region locking. But what I wanted to say was that with the PlayStation 3 era, the Xbox 360 era, we had region free games. But Persona 4 Arena, the fighting game based on Persona 4, was region locked. It was because of anime licensing, because the Persona 4 anime came out before the game came out, if I remember correctly, and because of different licensing deals for the anime across the world, they had to region lock the game.
Oh.
The fighting game, not even the base game,
because it
the
contained
RPG.
assets from the anime.
Something like that. Yes. My mind was blown when I heard that. It's, guys, like, really, I mean, I can't stand region locking in this time and age.
Do you want to not make as much money as possible?
I know, right? Can you tell me why there's not a lot of Japanese artists on Spotify? It's ridiculous to me. There are so many people who want to listen to this music, and it's like a no-brainer. But you can't find Japanese music that easily unless you go specifically to Japanese Spotify, Japanese iTunes, Japanese Amazon. It boggles my mind, guys. Anywho.
Oh, no.
So, let's talk RWBY Volume 6. All right. So we've come to a point where everybody now everything seems to be in a happier place, let's put it this way.
Shall we call the seasons 4 and 5 the Haven arc?
The Haven arc, basically, yeah. So the Haven arc has concluded. They had a battle there. Adam is on the run. Cinder is seemingly dead.
Not confirmed. We don't see the body. We haven't seen the body yet.
We haven't seen the body. That is true. We haven't seen the body.
I can't say anything about what the soundtrack says to that particular state of being, but I don't believe it. I believe that the person that is Cinder may be dead, but I think that something is going to come out of that pit.
Well, she was part Grimm, so...
Exactly.
Oh, there is that fact. Yeah, you're right.
There are parts of at least 2 Grimm bonded with her body, plus the maiden powers.
That's going to be interesting.
Plus, if Cinder did die, then the question is, who's going to be the new full maiden?
Provided that the maiden powers can actually escape the body. That first Grimm, the beetle, is what was used to kind of bind them to Cinder's.
Yeah, but if there's no vessel to contain them anymore,
that's the hopeful way to look at it.
It's hopeful, but what happens if the powers cannot be transferred?
Then the ultimate beacon will never be opened.
And I think that the fan name for Cinder as the Apocalypse Maiden might actually come to mean something.
The Apocalypse Maiden.
Some fans named her that. It kind of caught on in a few areas.
Well, one would assume the next arc, they're off to Atlas, which will be the Winter Maiden.
Yep. And presumably they're going to spend at least some time in Mantle.
Yeah, so I'm expecting at least 2 seasons for the arc, the next arc.
Oh yeah, easily.
Well, definitely. I mean, okay, they can. I think 2 seasons should be fine per arc. I mean, unless it's going to be something really huge. But I'd like arcs to be wrapped up a little bit faster. I don't know how you guys feel about that. 2 seasons, I think, is fine. But anything beyond that might be a little bit too much.
Yeah, depending on the event, 2 seasons is good. 3 seasons, if there's a reason.
Well, the only reason the Beacon arc was 3 seasons is the first season was basically an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
more or less. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, the first three and the Beacon arc and the Haven arc, the runtime is more or less the same.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what makes it like being able to make it a viable arc to be that long. I mean, also season 1, volume 1 can be considered something like a proof of concept in a way.
Yeah,
like let's find our
footing
with this
as
show.
An extended prologue to the main story.
Yeah.
So seasons 1, 2, and 3, I see as an extended prologue. It sets up the world, all the characters you're going to be invested in, and then from that point on, we move into the main sequence of events.
Yeah. I should have prefaced all of this with a spoiler alert, although I doubt anybody who hasn't watched the show is watching this right now. But here's a delayed spoiler alert.
I think just by saying that the bulk of this chat is going to be about RWBY Volume 6 is itself a huge spoiler alert.
That is true, and yeah, you were warned from what you see on your screen over here. Right, so yes, so we've got that going on. We got Cinder. We don't know what's happening with that, with the Fall Maiden and the powers and all of that stuff. We have no idea, but I don't know. Personally, I hope I never have to hear that voice again between you. She creeps the hell out of me, guys. I genuinely shudder. Like, I'm not just putting on a show. I genuinely shudder when I hear her voice. It's so creepy.
Anyone else think?
So if you go to RTX London and Jessica Negri is on a panel, you're not going to go?
Oh, that's killing me a little bit. I should be, but I'll probably have to be like, maybe I have to go, like, even if I happen to go meet her, and it's like, can you just, like, just stay quiet. Don't speak.
She does have several different voices for her World of Warcraft cosplays.
She does other voices.
Always on Cinder.
Ah, she does Cinder with all of her. Okay. Nice. She's going to ruin other characters I like.
Oh, no, she's done a lot of, the main thing she's known for has always been her cosplay. Primarily.
That's the once you found her in the first place.
Mm-hmm. She is a tremendously talented cosplayer. There on the Rooster Teeth site, they put up a video called "Becoming Jessica Negri," which is basically it's a documentary about her and her cosplay and how she came to voice Cinder and such.
Oh, that's really cool. I should probably watch that and creep myself out. I don't know. Maybe if I just have her face, her genuine face, in front of me, it might just change everything. I don't know. Maybe it's just the whole ensemble.
Rooster Teeth might do what they've done previously. Is because of the nature of RWBY being 3D models. A couple of times in some previous conferences, they haven't done a panel with the actors. They just put a screen and then they put 3D models of the characters, which are motion capped. So they just talk and the mouse moves, the arms move as if they're conducting an interview.
That's really cool, actually.
They did one of those with Ruby and Yang, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the one I saw last year, and they might do that again.
That's really cool. I still don't know if I'm gonna go to RTX yet. I do have to book a ticket if there's still any left. But yeah, it's all very. When is the show again? When is RTX again?
RTX Prime in Austin is in July. I don't know about London or Sydney.
No, neither do I. But I don't go to those things because I don't like crowds.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm not big on crowds either, but I would like to meet some of the people from the community and stuff. I think it's early September. The problem is that around mid-September, I'm gonna be in Hungary for 2 weeks for my teacher training thing, and I don't want that to clash. I don't want to have to buy a ticket.
You get around, don't you?
I have to, man. I have a family, and I have to. I don't want to be a classroom teacher for the rest of my life. I want to boss other teachers around. That's what I'm planning. That's one of my road paths in life. I've got others. I cast a wide net in my life in general.
In other words, you want to get to a position where all you need to do is delegate.
Exactly. Although, like school director, and after that, ruler of the universe, and then the rest is history. Yeah, so Cinder, we got that out of the way. Now, let's see, what else? They're gonna go to Atlas. What are we
I think the initial part of the next season will be, reaffirming the relationships of the girls now they come back together.
Yeah.
I would expect to take 2 to 3 episodes doing that.
And I think at least the first 4 or 5 episodes is going to be that, and making arrangements to even travel to Atlas.
Because obviously Weiss is the one with the connections in Atlas due to her family, so she can probably, contact Winter and see what's going on. Then there's the question of James, whose paranoia seems to be running out of control.
Yeah, and that's why I think that they're going to end up going in through Mantle, because I think that they're going to run into problems with the closed borders.
Oh, that could be a problem as well. And we also have Weiss's father, who I'm definitely expecting is in some way going to be involved with all the bad things that happen over the next couple of seasons.
I don't think he's going to be involved because he's evil, just purely because he's a self-interest man and he only cares about his own reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I think for the same reason. I don't think he's not evil, but he's just self-absorbed.
He's capitalist.
He's a
I hope we do get to see Weiss's mother, because we know she's alive. We haven't seen her yet.
Nope, we've only seen her in the family portrait.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm looking forward to see more of Klein. I love the butler.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's
7 dwarves in one man.
I love the concept. I love that character concept so much. It's such a cool idea to make a character who is based on the 7 dwarves but has these 7 personalities, essentially.
And we know he's loyal to Weiss.
Yes. Well, seemingly.
If Klein and Zwei were ever in the same area, I don't know what I'd do.
The universe would implode, man. That would be a paradox of adorbs right over there.
Well, there's one thing we do need to talk about, though, which is kind of John's semblance. How's that going to be used moving forward?
It's a huge one. I mean, just how he and Weiss work together.
Paladin that can heal?
Well, he doesn't heal.
He amplifies aura.
He feeds his aura into other people to amplify their aura. That's how Weiss was able to pull a massively overpowered summon within seconds after getting up from her injury.
And aura's also used for healing, so if you can...
Yeah, that's how he healed Weiss, was he overcharged her aura, which had been depleted, and then her aura healed her, and then her aura did the work of the healing.
So let's just agree that this is a massively OP semblance. Like, massively OP.
It's OP. It's OP on the level of Emerald's semblance OP.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of Emerald, she's going to have a interesting psychological challenge to go through.
Indeed.
She wasn't devoted to Salem. She was devoted to Cinder.
Oh yeah, she was absolutely Cinder's disciple, and losing Cinder and going through the trauma and that trauma triggering the evolution of her semblance. It's going to be big.
Yeah, I think she's going to be on, kind of like one of those characters that's just a loose cannon throughout the whole season.
Well,
She's
there's a chance
gonna go
that she
bananas.
might turn.
Could be.
Because she was never wholly with the Salem's plan. She only went along with it because Salem was going on. I mean, Cinder was going on because she'd follow Cinder anywhere. And without Cinder...
There's a chance that she might end up in the same category that I keep Neo. Not a good guy, but maybe one day against the bad guys.
Could be.
Yeah.
And we still don't know what's going on with Neo.
Again.
There's everything that showed her as she was floating off in Volume 3 showed that she could very easily have survived that.
Oh yeah, I mean she's gonna. I totally expect her to appear at least by Volume 7. Like
Neo will blame Ruby for Roman's death, and her and Roman were quite the pair.
Do we actually do we perceive it that they had a tight relationship?
Well, considering the way Roman reacted when Neo fell off, he was attached to her.
Yeah,
That's
the
true.
way Roman acted, also the way that they fought together. So
The similarity of their weapons, you know, a cane and an umbrella.
That wasn't a recent relationship.
No, yeah. I guess we're gonna have to get some background information as well on how these two built.
Plus, her and Yang have got scored a cell.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, that's gonna be a fight for the ages.
Information on Neo's background and maybe how she and Roman met might show up in the spin-off.
That
Well,
is
there was
really
some
happening.
rumors that given, you know, some aspects of Neo's costume, which was similar to Raven's, that she might be part of a bandit group originally, and Roman found her there.
Ah.
Quite possibly.
What was that you were saying about the spin-off Valashar?
I have not. I mean, obviously, they have a lot of projects going on right now, but there has been they've been talking about that they've been doing some writing for it, and it's quite possibly going to be the project that they put resources into once Genlock gets up and running.
Wow. So fully
about,
Neo,
2 years.
a Neo show, basically.
Well, it's a prequel type deal focused around Team Stark, and Neo has been mentioned as one of the side characters in it.
I see.
Yeah,
Wow.
there was raised a question on how old Neo actually is.
From what I heard from the talk about the spin-off is that she's a little bit younger than Ty.
Right, so she's from the... Yeah, okay.
Wow, some very interesting stuff in that regard. Yeah, so if they're actually doing that spin-off, that's gonna be really cool. Team Stark and everything, and seeing what how Neo and Roman found each other and all of that. That's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, I had a fly up here somewhere. Right, so we've got that stuff. All right, yeah, back to Jean's semblance. If he can manifest aura, if he can amplify other people's aura, that means, first of all, I don't know, Yang is just gonna be unstoppable, I would assume.
Because putting my gamer hat on, the question of balance comes into play. What is the cost that John has to do when he uses his semblance? Does he have to be stationary? Can he do it while he's in motion? Can he... What are the restrictions on it? That's what makes it interesting.
To start with, it seems like he has to be in physical contact to initiate, and after that, he can kind of pump them, and then, basically give them a boost that they then work off of once they go off and do their own thing. I don't think he can continue to buff them unless he stays in contact, at least right now. I mean, towards the end of the series, he might be able to do distance buffs of multiple people, but I don't think that's going to be anywhere soon.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the balance of that as well, since I have my gamer hat whenever I see powers like this come into play. One thing that, taking it also from the entire arc that Jean has been going for, which is a bit like kind of like saying a hero's journey. I do assume here that he's been, it goes like this. He's been given...
I still think he's the descendant of the last King of Vale.
Oh, he absolutely was.
Could be. Yeah. There's a lot of hint about that, I guess, in some ways. But what I'm thinking is that, he's been given this really awesome power, and he's going to have a lot of difficulty controlling it. And it's going to affect him in combat situations. Like maybe he runs out of aura, or, I don't know, he drains himself, or he gets tired very easily and he becomes a...
Well, nothing's ever come easy to Jean, has it? He's always had to work for everything.
No, that's why I love him. I love a character like that, who just nothing comes easy to him at all.
Well, the only thing that comes easy to Jean is making a fool of himself.
Exactly. And he did it swimmingly by wearing a dress.
Oh, that was a brilliant episode.
That was by far one of my favorite moments in the show. By far.
That was one of the moments that, for a lot of people I know, actually sold them on Jean.
Wait until you get to the bit where the Chibi references that particular episode.
I'm not there yet, right? But is it on the first season?
It is.
Ah, nice. Can't wait. So excited.
Yeah, it's the episode, I think, is a conversation between Yang and Pyrrha about Juniper's little dance.
Yeah, we can't believe that dance just came out of nowhere. Yeah, it was totally spontaneous. We didn't practice it at all.
Oh my god, I love Chibi, guys. I love it. I wish I had started it sooner.
Chibi, because we're watching it, in real time and coming to the end of season 3 and all that stuff that happened. Being able to watch Chibi, a couple of weeks afterwards was such a release. It was
a balm. It was an absolute balm.
And the thing is, I think Chibi made me love Nora even more.
Oh yeah, I definitely see that. Yeah, I mean,
Coffee Nora.
Oh, he hasn't got to that bit in Chibi yet.
The pancakes were fun. Pancakes were fun. Yeah. So what's next? Okay, Raven. Raven has transformed and has flown away and is running away.
I'm not sure about Raven because they've got the relic, so they don't need Raven for her maiden powers anymore, story-wise, to open the vault. So I think her main is going to be a foil for Yang.
That could be one thing. But do you think we're going to see her...
Because they're so opposite in their attitudes.
Do you think we're going to see her in Volume 6?
Maybe a little, but I don't think it's going to be that she's going to even be a side focus. I think if we see her at all, it's going to be it's going to be in context with maybe hearing about her from Ty. Because
she did go to Ty, from what I understand.
She at least portaled to him.
Yeah.
She used her portal to him to escape the vault.
So I think she still loves Ty.
Oh yeah, I agree.
She's super bitter every time she sees and hears of RWBY. Super bitter. So yeah, there's no question about that.
Well, no, because the thing is, she made her choice after Yang was born to go back to her tribe. And obviously, Ty was on the rebound, and you got this lovely girl called Summer.
On the rebound. Well, that's true. I mean, it was a bit of a rebound thing.
Pretty much what happened. I mean, in the 2-year gap, that's a solid rebound.
RWBY, your mom and I, we were like, I was, Raven had left me, and I was in this really bad, dark place, but then your mom came around, and it was just a rebound. It was a rebound, but it was a magnificent rebound.
And Summer was a wonderful team leader, and she wanted to be there for me.
And like one night, one thing led to another.
And then, of course, RWBY will react like she did when Crow was telling his inappropriate stories. Gross!
They should do a chibi of that. They should freaking do a chibi of that. About how the whole thing was a rebound.
Oh, wait till you get to season 2 of Chibi and season 3 and you start to get in the other characters, not just the girls.
Oh, yep. Sweet. Oh, sweet.
Season 2 brings in some wonderfully missed characters. And season 3 is when, Jean sings a song you have recently been exposed to, and it's horrifying to me. And I shudder in the same way that you cringe when you hear Cinder's voice.
Okay, I'll keep on my eye on that. Right. So we've talked about that. What do we have next? So.
What about the main 4? What's going to happen to them? Do you think they're going to split up again, or are they going to stay together?
Oh, please don't split up again.
They're going to stay together.
I think they're going to keep that together.
There was hints that maybe Blake might take up the mantle of leadership of the White Fang.
No, the way I saw it in the last episode of Volume 5, it was pretty much Gira being handed back the reins of taking up of this new organization they were putting together.
Yeah, there was that. I do think that in some way they're gonna want Blake to play a leadership role, because they did do that whole thing where she like gave the speech and she's gonna inspired everybody. So they're gonna do something with that for sure.
But where better for her to kind of test herself out as a leader among the Faunus than in Atlas, where Faunus are a slave caste basically.
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, yes.
I mean, it's been referenced many times how
that's where the Schnee Dust Company is headquartered,
and how they treat their Faunus workforce.
Isn't it true that the founder of the Schnee Dust Company is still alive?
It's heavily implied that Grandpa Schnee is still around, just that he retired because the life he'd led had started to take a physical toll on him.
So good chance you get to see him next season.
Oh, I'm really hoping we get to see Santa Schnee.
Santa Schnee, that would be nice.
You watch The World of Remnant for the Schnee Dust Company, and Grandpa Schnee is Santa Claus.
I have no words. That's really funny. Santa Claus. Does he have what the Faunus are like his little elves? Is that
Also thinking a bit more wide-ranging impacts. What do you think the political fallout will be for Haven after the because obviously, the school has been decimated, the hunters and huntresses have been decimated.
And a primary member of the Mistral Council is personally responsible for decimating their population of hunters and huntresses.
So there's going to be some serious political fallout from this.
Yeah. We haven't really seen any real politics from any side of the world besides Atlas. Like, we only know James as a sort of politician, right? He's a military man, but apparently Atlas mixes the two together.
A general, a headmaster, and a politician.
All rolled into one. Like, James has it all. He's just not a CEO. That's just the one thing he's not.
Yeah, outside of James, we've really only seen kingdom politics through the headmasters.
Yeah, well, we've seen Atlas or Mantle seems to display, the aristocracy side of politics. They're all the established families with money who don't care about the little people, unless it makes them look good when they're doing charity events.
Yeah, the party after Weiss's concert did very well in setting that up as regards to how Atlas's aristocracy is completely clueless about, is just completely isolated in their own little world.
So it's safe to assume that we're going to see a lot of Weiss development in the next season.
For all intents and purposes, RWBY has kind of not been the main character.
RWBY, I don't know, guys. I don't know. RWBY for me is a very weird situation. I mean, she's a great character.
She's the driving force, but not the main character from a narrative point of view. She kind of
it's kind
everything
of like
revolves around her, yes, but most of the narrative force has gone to the other characters, developing Weiss, developing Yang, developing Blake.
Mm-hmm.
Not really developing RWBY.
I almost see RWBY's status, character-wise, right now as more of a narrator, as more of a narrator's point of view.
It does feel that way, but on the other hand, she has such a sad past. I mean, there's just so much about her past that we don't know. So much about her past that she probably doesn't know. And there's so much that Crow has kind of hidden away from her as well, and Ty. So it's like either they're holding on to that along with the Silver Eyes stuff just for later to drop it as a real bomb on us or whatever, or it's just we don't really want a character. We don't really want her to be that affected by all of this stuff. We just want her to be.
We have had a
RWBY.
hint that Summer was probably killed by one of Salem's top lieutenants, because there's a phrase from I can't remember his name, Hazel, that's his name. He said, we've dealt with their kind before. And as far as we know, the last silver-eyed person was Summer Rose.
Exactly.
And in that and here's how I'm thinking about it with all of this in mind is it's kind of like RWBY, in a way, is a little bit like Luke Skywalker. Is that the bad guys are going to try to tempt her in some way into the dark side, quote unquote. And that's going to be probably one of the main arcs for her moving forward.
Yeah, that's some point. Her personality's too... The personality does not lend itself to being drawn into darkness easily.
It's not, but you could argue that Skywalker wasn't
She'd have to lose something quite severe. She'd have to lose something quite precious to her for that. I think to trigger a path into darkness.
Oh yeah, she needs a motivator for that for sure.
Or go through a particularly jarring revelation.
And there's potential for that jarring revelation.
Route and the drawn out nature of the conflict slowly erodes her optimism, and she becomes a cynical shell of herself.
Because she's seen some shit, right? I mean, she saw Penny die, she saw Bira die, she almost witnessed Crow die. There's so much that is happening in front of RWBY's eyes, and I mean, they haven't developed her neither in a more positive direction or more negative, but you can kind of see that cynicism kind of creeping in a tiny bit.
We have seen her mature,
yeah.
But she hasn't gone through the same kind of development as the other main girls.
No,
that's what I'm hoping. Now the girls are together, we can a bit more focus on RWBY herself.
I think part of RWBY's development has been the effort that she's had to put into basically kind of staying that. Basically, the way I see it is she's trying to stay the same type of, happy RWBY that she was before.
Yeah, lovable nerd who wants to save the world.
While still trying to maintain that outlook with the weight of everything that's happened. And that's why I think that that there is the possibility of a temptation arc with her.
I also like little nods to her character, like when Oscar first meets them, and the RWBY comes in for back. She says, "Can't a girl read her comics in peace?"
Exactly.
Those little references to her. She is slightly a couple of years younger than everyone else that's around her, and still got some of that childlike innocence. I
think that childlike innocence has kind of waned a little bit.
Yeah, you can see the cracks in it. I think best of all when she's talking with Oscar in the practice in the dojo. When he's like, well, how can you deal with all this? And she has her monologue.
Yeah, that monologue actually had a lot to say beyond exactly what it was saying. It was more like saying she's not exactly who you remember her to be.
She's not as okay as she's pretending to be.
Exactly. So that's how I feel that a temptation arc could be a possibility, and I think it would be a very good one as well. It would make for a very good arc. I don't know. Hopefully they'll do more with RWBY.
The reconciliation between Yang and Blake should be interesting because they've got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yep, that's one of the things I can't really go into because Akibana hasn't had a chance to react to the soundtrack yet.
And Jeff Williams has been known to put songs in there that aren't technically canon. They're more of his personal preference.
Yeah, the way that a couple of the songs are presented really kind of gives a lot of
like Bumblebee is
no, it's not Bumblebee. I'm talking from Volume 5.
Like Bumblebee is not canon. Jeff wrote it because he liked the idea of that relationship, but it's not canon, even though I want it to be.
but one of the Volume 5 sound, but also Bumblebee wasn't featured on in any of the episodes. The song I'm thinking of was heavily featured, and it indicates that there's going to be some definitely a lot of the expected friction between those two as they move forward. Just because of the whole, Blake ran away and right when Yang very much needed her partner.
Plus, there's also, the hint from Ilya, that maybe Blake might be willing to have a same-sex relationship.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you can't ignore Sun in all this.
No, how much I like Sun and I love his character, but I still think Blake and Yang are a better couple.
I agree with Omacron on this. I would like to see that relationship happen. And that's where... What?
I'm a Sunny Bees shipper.
Okay, well, I think that would make for a cute couple as well. It's just that, I don't know, Sun... I don't know, I like him more as a free spirit kind of guy.
Yeah, and I think Yang complements Blake the same way Sun complements Blake. Yang is an outgoing, outspoken character where Blake is more reserved. They suit, they opposites attract. Yin and Yang.
I like that. But also, other crazy theory over here. Love triangle.
Yeah, that's what Sunny Bees is. It's the three of them.
Oh, yes. That is a trope they haven't gone to yet, so...
It is a trope that they could go into, although...
Well, no, they did go to it with kind of Jean, Weiss, and Pyrrha.
Yeah, but it's not like Weiss ever, returned the feelings, right? I mean, it was...
No, she's got eyes for Neptune.
Yeah, which is weird to me, but yeah.
I think one of the things that I'm kind of hoping that they do with Weiss is kind of develop how she relates to other people outside of her team, like Jean, Ren, and Nora. I think that especially with the battle at Haven, and how Jean was able to help save her life and help her after that. I'm hoping that they kind of pull together a kind of mutual respect arc between those two.
I can definitely see the two teams coming together and being, I don't know what you'd call it, but RWBY and the other three.
Call it Orange Julius.
Wow. So we got a lot.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing going for Blake and Sun as a relationship is Blake's mother likes Sun.
I think Kali likes all the hot boys.
I think Kali's a bit of a cougar. I mean, she's got Gira, but she may like.
Admittedly, Sun's got a bit of a way to go with the dad.
Really, Akibana, a bit of a cougar.
Yeah, a bit of a cougar. Oh my god, I'm gonna get roasted in the comments. I should be careful of my jokes. Have you guys ever seen? I don't know if you remember the time I reacted to the whole thing with Blake being on the ship with the ship captain approaching her, and I made that stupid joke about the ship captain just being a bit of a pervert.
Just thinking of something now, just popping my head. Now, we know that a lot of the hunters and huntresses in Mistral are, nowhere to be found anymore. Do you think we'll see some more of the Beacon alumni being called into action? So maybe some Team Coffee making a reappearance,
or the rest of Team Sun.
I want to see Oobleck again. I want Oobleck in action. If I could have Oobleck in action and then have him knocking Zwei around, exactly. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see. I've been begging Ark to make this a character in BB Tag. Are you kidding me? That's all I want to see.
So, this actually brings up a question I've kind of been pondering. The next headmaster of Haven Academy.
Ooh. What are our options?
Toyang.
Not a bad
probably
choice.
going to do it.
Crow's not going to do it, no.
Well, fuck no, Crow's not going to do it.
Ty Angus
in his own
been a
words, I
teacher.
quit teaching for a reason.
He knows all the backstory about what's going on because of you being in Team Stark. So he has the knowledge and the skill base to do it.
He's probably not corruptible either. So,
And his primary reason for staying home, well, his two primary reasons for staying home are on their way to Atlas.
So he could be closer, I guess, in some way.
And again, we could see Glenda Goodwitch if they cast a new voice actress.
Glenda
Wait, what happened there? With the voice actress? Cast a new voice actress.
The voice actress who played Glenda Goodwitch left the company.
She left the company. Oh, I didn't know that.
So did Blake and
Why
Weiss.
we don't see Glenda Goodwitch after that.
So did who?
Blake and Weiss's
Yes.
voice actresses haven't actually worked for Rooster Teeth.
No,
since, like,
I believe she left the company not on good terms.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not good. No. Ooh. But
So
if they
the
can
voice
cast...
actor will have to be recast if you want to see Glenda Goodwitch again, and I hope we do. I liked her character. You know, the stern headmistress
McGonagall.
But she's basically McGonagall, but forced
with a riding crop.
Yeah, and forced to clean up a lot more shit than McGonagall ever had to. But
Well, when your semblance is telekinesis and you can put buildings back together in 5 seconds.
Because she would be the obvious, because she was, Ozpin's, second in command at the school. So she would be the obvious choice.
I could see Glinda, if they can find a new voice actress or if they can reconcile with the old voice actress. I mean, that would be great if they... I could see her. Ty could make for a good headmaster, I think. I don't know. I think Ty might be a little too chill, a little too easygoing to be a headmaster. Yeah. It's a bit too much responsibility, I guess. Not that he's not a responsible guy, but leadership is one thing.
Plus, he already has previous relationship with at least 2 of the teachers. Drinking buddies.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fair enough. That's always a good prerequisite to have for being a headmaster.
I don't know if this reference would be something either of you would get, but to me, Ty seems a little too John Denver to be in charge of anything.
Nah, that flies over my head, unfortunately.
Don't get that references.
He's a Rocky Mountain country musician in the States.
Yeah, I don't listen to country music, unfortunately.
Did either of you watch the second Kingsman?
I haven't watched the second one yet, no.
I've only seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one.
John Denver's music features heavily because apparently Merlin is a fan.
Okay. Fair enough.
That movie is also why it kind of popped back into my head recently, and I started listening to some of the stuff I used to, was because of the music that they used in that movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it at some point.
It's okay.
It's okay, right? Not as good as the first one, I assume. No.
The other question that we've got to ask is, what's going to happen to the relic now they've taken it out of the vault?
Well, for starters, we don't know what its powers are, right?
I think it's the relic of knowledge, is it?
It is the relic of knowledge, but we don't know what it does.
And not really explained, because before we saw the relics with another YouTuber and reactor, I was discussing the possibility that maybe the relics might be, we don't know what they look like at the time, so it could have been anything. So we're thinking maybe they might change shape depending on whoever's wielding that particular relic.
That would be a really cool idea, actually. It's kind of like a weapon that changes. Because
considering the nature of how they were interned, that was some damn magical place, that vault.
Also, I'm pretty sure that the lamp that Yang retrieved.
What's the question is how much of Ozpin's former power did he actually give up to the maidens, and how much does he still have? That hasn't been quantified yet.
If I were to guess, I'd say that he kept about a third, but it's entirely a guess based on nothing but anecdotes and my own thoughts.
I do also hope that we get a flashback at some point where we see Ozpin be cursed by the gods to, suffer immortality, reincarnation. Actually, the events that started it all.
And also, and figure out why Salem wasn't active during all that time. I mean, if he's been around for thousands of years, and so is she, you'd think that she'd be a little further along than she is. So it's entirely possible that she was in some way dormant for a while.
It is.
Yes, that is possibility. You do have thousands of years to account for.
Thousands, yeah, that's a very long time. So we're very close to well over 30 minutes, I have to say, which is fine. We had a really good chat, but I'm just gonna toss out one final question so we can close this off. So, what is your big hope? What is the one thing that you absolutely would like to see happen or person or whatever in Volume 6? I
want to see Ozzy's semblance.
You want to see semblance? Whose?
Ozpin's semblance.
Ozpin's semblance. Oh yeah, because we don't know.
I assume it's got something to do with time.
Well, that was the semblance as Ozpin.
Will Oscar have the same one?
What I took from Ozpin's speech on semblance when they were training in Volume 5, to me it implied that Oscar will have a different semblance from Ozpin, just like and Ozpin had a different semblance from back when he was the last king of Vale, etc.
See, I don't think Ozpin was the king of Vale. I think Ozpin was, like the Merlin figure to the last king of Vale.
That makes somewhat sense.
Too many things about how he keeps saying about how with the world of remnants and how Osmond keeps saying that he himself built the academies and the Great War.
He might have been the orchestrator, the man who devised it all, worked from behind the scenes like he has always done.
Yeah, that's probable.
This is also why I think he's interested in Jean, because I think Jean's a descendant of the King of Vale, because he knew about Jean before he went to the academy.
Agreed.
There's that.
And why would he be interested in Jean? And why was Tyrion so interested in Jean when he first saw him? What is it about Jean that makes him special?
I don't know. I've wondered about that too, and I think it might have some. I think the reason why Tyrion took note of him might have something to do with his own semblance. That it might be some sort of.
Yes, can Tyrion see something about other people's auras that others can't see?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking as well. That's why I think Tyrion was so interested.
He's also explained the reason why he's useful to Salem other than being a violent psychopath.
Oh yeah.
So yours, Valashar, what is your one big wish for Volume 6?
It's two people that I'd really very much like to see are Grandpa Schnee and Mama Schnee.
Yes.
So a counterbalance to all the negativity we get so far from the
we can see,
Schnee,
if Weiss
family.
takes after her father's side or her mother's side. I think it's her mother's side by current judgment.
That would make for an interesting story arc for Volume 6 too, considering we're in Atlas and we're with Weiss and everything.
It also brings up the possibility that if Grandpa Schnee is still alive, does that mean there's a possibility that he has the power to take Jacques out of the company completely if he wants to?
That would be funny.
If they had it turn out that he could completely disown Jacques, just lock, stock, and barrel, I would love it.
I think a lot of people would be very happy with that.
I would laugh for days. But yeah, that's mine for Volume 6.
That'll be an interesting way to...
Right. So for me, my one big wish, which is always the one I always have, is what the hell is up with Osmond's cane? That's the one thing I want to know, because he's just been baseball batting it around, and that's it. But we don't.
The question is Ozpin, considering how old Ozpin's soul is supposed to be, and the cane's passed down. How old is the cane?
Cane is wow. It's been there since the beginning of time.
I do have one theory about Ozpin's cane, at least one of its functions.
And that is?
I think it's a Pez dispenser.
Well, if they haven't done it already, they should make one as part of the merchandising.
RT, if you're watching this, like, you know, get on that merchandising bandwagon right now. I mean, Pez dispensers right over here, right?
Every Ozpin cosplayer would jump on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of Volume 6, I'm still undecided what to send you as a prize for Volume 6.
Could you repeat that again? What do you mean?
I'm still undecided about what to send you for a giveaway for Volume 6.
Oh. I don't know.
I think you've got a bit of time to figure that one out, Omacron.
Yeah, I don't know, because the RWBY anthology is coming out, and I've got the first volume, and I think the second volume will be out by the time Volume 6 starts. And I think there's only 3 books in that anthology. So I was thinking of sending you all 3 books, and you can give them out during the season.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. If anybody else has any thoughts on what kinds of giveaways you want to see,
don't want to break my bank in any suggestions.
Let's make it reasonable, right? So yeah, but sound off in the comments below. I mean, yeah, make it something reasonable, right? Maybe I can make something happen as well.
Why plushie?
What was that?
Why plushie? Find one, please.
A plushie.
I will pay all the monies.
A plushie.
They're sold out. They've been sold out forever.
Considering I've got about basically 150,000 yen's worth of stuff on pre-order at the moment.
Ooh, ouch.
Dude, we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to just do a video of all of your figurine collection. Like, you're just gonna have to walk around your house and just do a whole video, and we'll just put it on the next Patron Coffee Time.
60 figures.
Yep.
If you include the RWBY stuff,
shit,
which isn't in the cabinet.
That's a lot.
That sounds like my old comic collection.
Now, I know an Aussie who has hundreds of figures.
Yeah, well, you know, everybody's got their hobbies, but I mean, that's impressive.
He tends to go for a different style of figure than what I go for.
Let's
just say he tends to lean more on the lewd side of the figures. I tend to lean more on the kawaii side.
Sometimes you kind of veer to the edge of the lewd, I have to say.
Admittedly, the 2 figures I got from High School DxD, I had no choice to get lewd ones because they were the only ones available with wings.
That is true. But I mean, it's anime.
With at least one devil wing and one angel, fallen angel wing.
Okay, we could let that slide, I guess. Anyway. That's gonna do it with this Patron Coffee Time. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me today. This was a magnificent chat, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of comments discussing our theories and our chat about Volume 6. And definitely, everybody, just sound off. What are your hopes? What are you expecting to happen in Volume 6? Because yeah, lots of big stuff happening. Got a big volume to look forward to and all of that stuff. And yeah, remember to follow the channel, have a chat with us in the comments and all that on Twitter and everything. And yeah, I'm going to have to say goodbye to each of you one by one. Omacron, thank you so much once again for all of your contributions and for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And Valashar, you too, thank you very much for joining. It's a pleasure for a second time being on the Patron Coffee Time.
Always worthwhile.
Right, and yeah, that's gonna do it, guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, gonna catch you next time.
Toodle pip.
Take care.